let's go back to growing up in California, and you're 4 years old and you're involved in bicycle motocross. But what's your first memory of really wanting to race?
Um, I mean, I don't think there was anything prior to the bicycle, but I lived on the street in California we lived had a long hill that had a dead end, and everybody would take anything with wheels from the time I could remember and take it to either midway up that hill or to the top of that hill, whether it was a skateboard, a bicycle, a cardboard box if it would slide down, whatever it was. We would, and I lived in a neighborhood with older kids. Most of the kids were older than me, so I just wanted to do what they were doing. I wanted to fit in and join them, and so I know that I was introduced to speed and I don't want to say danger, but definitely taking risks pretty early on. I learned how to ride a bike very young at 3. Again, all my friends were riding bicycles. And so, instead of it being, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I was like, yes, 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 I want to do that. That allows me to join these other kids. But this is where my stepdad comes in because, if I learned how to ride a bike, he was like, okay, we need to go race this bike. If I learned how to ride a skateboard, well, you need to learn how to, they didn't have X Games back then, but had they, it would have been, you need to be an X Games, or a skateboard champion or expert. Tony Hawk, so that's just the way he was. I took up water skiing, when I was like 11, and immediately he wanted me to be a competition water skier. That's just the way that he and I connected and how he pushed me. And it didn't always work out. But the bicycle was that first thing. We happened to have a BMX bicycle track less than 5 miles, I believe, from my house. So it was very close. And I would, start doing that when I was 4. At 4, you don't think about a whole lot other than just getting out there. But it didn't take me long to realize there were some kids that were faster than me,
Yeah.
and that my physical abilities were probably going to be limited. And then I got introduced to racing in a race car, and it didn't matter my size because now it was all about the machine and what I could do with my hands and my feet, and that's when I fell in love with it.
And you end up moving from California to Indiana so you could be near some tracks that would allow you to race legally, amazingly, at 14. That was a big decision in the family, I'm guessing. Do you remember those conversations, moving from California to Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I obviously wasn't as involved in the family decision to move to Indiana. That was obviously my mom and my dad, and they had a small business that they were looking after, and having to make decisions that were far, above me. I just knew that I wanted to race, and I loved racing, and that if they were committed to it, I was committed to it. And by moving to Indiana, it showed me how committed they were to racing, and they loved it too. I mean, it became a family gathering in sport. My sister was 4 years older, so by the time we moved to Indiana, I think I was 14 or 15. She was off to college, so sort of the timing of her going to college, and timing for me to be able to step into a race car and do it on a regular basis at a very young age, and that could only happen in the Midwest and around Indiana and Ohio. And I know it had to be a stressful time in their life as a couple, my mom and my dad, but it was a very exciting time in my life because nothing against California, except for they were restricting me from racing. That
Mhm.
bothered me. I loved the state of California, and I had a great experience growing up there. Made me who I was or who I am today. But moving to Indiana was next level. It was, I felt like I was just surrounded by other racing people that supported it. Even my school was supportive of it, and we had so many tracks that we could drive to within just a couple or 4 or 5 hours, and that was a dream come true for me.